There's a lot to learn. It's funny how much you don't learn in school about the native environment. Like, I would learn more about the jungle in school than I would learn about the Maine forest, it seemed like. And I don't know if that's changed, but I didn't know my trees, really.
This is Bob Duchesne's Wild Maine. Today is one of those shows that happens when you just kind of ask yourself, what if? Besides this show, I write a weekly column on birding for the Bangor Daily News, and I write a Woods and Waters column for Bangor Metro. Aislinn Saranaki is an outdoor writer for the Bangor Daily News, so since we both write outdoor columns, we got talking about it at this year's Eastern Maine Sportsman Show. What if we did one together? She'd go on one of her one-minute hikes, and I'd go along and I'd point out what birds we're hearing along the way. Well, as soon as the spring migrants began to arrive, we did it. A walk in Bangor City Forest 2 weeks ago. The result is today's show, and it won't be just about hiking and birding. Maine is a state where getting outdoors is a way of life. You do it, we write about it. We're taking the show outdoors, and it's brought to you by Hammond Lumber, Napa Auto Parts, and EBS. Let's start with introductions. Aislinn Saranaki, Bangor Daily News outdoor writer. Welcome to Bob Duchesne's Wild Maine.
Thank you.
We're walking into Bangor City Forest right now. Today is Friday. It's May, 19? Yeah, yesterday was the 18th, that really hot day that hit like 92 in Bangor.
Yeah, I was up in Baxter. And
were you really?
I was. It was beautiful, but it was still hot there. I mean, I was paddling, and it was pretty hot out in the sun, but it was great. I shouldn't complain.
Didn't it just bring the black flies out, though?
I think the sun kept the black flies away.
Really?
They were not bad at all.
I woke up this morning and the mosquitoes were darkening the dawn sun against the screen in the window. Oh, no. I said, this walk in City Forest might be interesting.
Yeah, we went to the gatehouse at Baxter, and that's like the worst place.
Oh, isn't
actually.
it so?
Yeah, and so all of these black flies came out, and so that was the first impression we got. We were like, oh no.
Yeah.
And then we got in there, and it was not bad at all.
Everybody who works at that gatehouse has to have anemia.
I know. I know.
So we're going to do a bunch of things. We're going to walk and talk. I want to know more about what you do as an outdoor writer for the Bangor Daily News. You and I sort of do the same thing. We explore the state, then tell people what we find.
Yes.
You do it with trails, I do it with birds, but it's always a matter of locations and where to go have fun.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I do mostly hiking trails, but I say hiking, it's a very broad word for me. Uh-huh. I define it as really any trail through the wilderness, so it could even be a wheelchair-accessible trail like this one. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing it for 5.5 years now, so I do a different trail every week, and that makes over 250 trails now. and I haven't even come close to running out.
Oh, yeah. Let's stop right here for a second. There's several different things going on right in this spot. There was an ovenbird that was singing right in here. And that over there is a Nashville warbler. Bitsy, 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 tee, 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 tee. And I want the ovenbird to go again. They are very territorial. So if he thinks he has an interloper coming onto his territory, he will come see who it is. That's him right there.
Look at him. That's very exciting.
See, that's a ground nesting warbler. They call them ovenbirds. They call them ovenbirds because they make little Dutch oven type nests against the tree trunk on the ground.
Oh, neat.
I've never actually seen the nest, but this bird or his parents have been here for as long as I've been coming to this spot. There, right in that section, there's always an ovenbird.
That's amazing that you know exactly where to stop.
Oh, taking you into Bangor City Forest is really cheating because all the birds pretty much go back to the same spot, and I kind of know where they're going to be.
I didn't know that birds did that.
They do. Well, it's all a habitat thing. They know what they like. Wherever they like is where they're going to go.
Yep.
So certain trees have certain characteristics, and that's what they're doing. They're going to those characteristics. So this chip sounds like it should be right over us. I think it's black-throated green warbler right here, which is really common. And there he is. That's what you're saying.
Oh, yes, I recognize the voice.
So yeah, that's black-throated green warbler. It's like the most common singer in Maine. They're in every habitat.
Oh, interesting.
You probably heard them up in Baxter yesterday.
Yeah. Now they're down here.
They don't tolerate each other, so they probably just arrived. They haven't really started to sort out their territory yet.
Yeah.
They've chased each other a little.
They're looking at each other.
But mostly they're just hungry, and they're feeding a lot.
Huh.
So those are real common. We'll get more of those. In the meantime, I'm listening, and there's an alder flycatcher that's calling from back there. Northern Parula or Parula called from down here. The Nashville is still singing. And there's the ovenbird behind us.
Mm-hmm.
A yellow rump was in the distance. Yellow rump warbler.
Do you ever just go out and listen to bird song without, like, identifying
No.
them?
It's this thing in my brain. I'm so hardwired to identify bird songs that I cannot shut it off. So I could be hearing sound effects on a TV.
Oh, yeah.
Or movies, and I'll be identifying it.
Now, is it true that the Hollywood call for a bald eagle is a red-tailed hawk?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I was telling my coworkers that the other day, and they didn't believe me. I'm like, no, listen, we went to the Cornell Lab of Ornithology website,
and
I was playing, and I was like, this is a red-tailed hawk, and it's exactly like the Hollywood bald eagle sound, but this is a real bald eagle, and it was like, the kind of pathetic bald eagle sound.
Exactly.
And they're like, no, that's not right. Now I get to tell them Bob Duchesne said that it's right.
The authority.
That's right.
No, it gets me every time. You get this hot Western movie, the sun is blazing, and you always get this red-tailed hawk as they show you the eagle.
Yeah.
It's like, no! The funny one is whenever you're in an African jungle, they're playing the sound of a kookaburra bird, which is Australian.
Yeah.
It's like,
oh, that's
that one
funny.
always makes me laugh. Well, we got a number of things going on here. That trill is a pine warbler.
So, knowing the birds' songs helps you find them, like, visually, I'm assuming.
It does, yeah.
Because when I hike, I sometimes will come across birds, but it's by chance, and they have to catch my eye.
Right. So you've got that trill. That's the pine warbler. Over here, there's this. Now, did you just happen to feel that ruffed grouse drum?
Mm-mm.
That one sneaks up on people. So, again, a number of things going on. Pine warbler, that dee-dee-dee, cheery up, cheerio. That's a red-eyed vireo. We'll get to him in a moment. The Z up over there is the northern parula. There's the pine warbler again. And that last one was the northern water thrush.
The one where...
The really loud, sort of shrill one back in over here. That one, northern water thrush.
That's cool.
And there's always a snowshoe hare in this area. And there he is.
Oh my gosh. Is he is he used to people because
he is. We can get probably half as much closer again.
I think I've seen him in this area coming to the park.
Usually he's by the bathrooms. But
let's see if I can get a picture.
Oh, you can easily get it. Yeah, he's tame.
Oh my goodness. It's the same one, I'm assuming.
Pine warblers are extraordinarily territorial, so they'll come. If they think there's an intruder here, they'll come check them out.
Is he yellow?
Yes, very yellow with white wing bars. And they're always in white pines and like nowhere else.
Oh. So that would be the reason they're up high.
Uh-huh. And another ruffed grouse just drummed way, way, way over that way. And I thought I heard a Blackburnian warbler, which is really high. Yeah, that squeaky thing. Blackburnian, boy, if we can get that if we can get him down, you're going to love him. They're bright orange.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I think I've taken a picture of one a long time ago.
You probably have.
Didn't know what it was, and I had to look it up. It looked like a tropical bird to me.
Very much so.
Is he up in that pine tree too?
Yeah, the problem with them is they're really bright, but they stay really high, so people don't know they're there. But yeah, he's up there.
The problem is also that they have very small territories, so they usually, that's him flitting around up there.
So which ones are a lot of these, or most of these migrating birds?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep, especially all these warblers, all the singers right now are all migrants.
We're out of the field today on Bob Duchesne's Wild Maine. Aislinn Sarnacki is the outdoors column writer for the Bangor Daily News, who is well known for her 1-minute hike videos. Since I also write a column about birds for the outdoors section, we're combining her hikes and my birds, and you get to tag along with us here inside Bangor City Forest. We'll be heading out onto the Orono Bog Boardwalk in just a moment. This is Sports Radio 92.9, The Ticket. It's Bob Duchesne's Wild Maine on Sports Radio 92.9, The Ticket. Today's show is a walk in Bangor City Forest with Aislinn Sarnacki, writer and blogger for the Bangor Daily News, popular for her 1-minute hike columns and videos. Think of today's show as a hike with a soundtrack. We're walking together, and I'm revealing all of the birds we're hearing along the way, sometimes teasing them within view so that she can get some photos to share with you later. We're now just at the entrance of the Orono Bog Boardwalk.
So this is always funny. Over here, it's 2 years in a row the robin has built its nest right there.
Oh, that's really cool. Well, he must be pretty used to people walking by.
Yeah, last year he built it right in plain view of everybody, and then got skittish every time someone went by. It's like, what were you thinking?
Did not think this through.
No. So we have reached the boardwalk. You see these square holes?
Yes.
Pileated woodpeckers make those.
They're always square.
Always square.
What about the other woodpeckers? They do round?
They make round, yep. But the pileateds do squares.
I like how the boardwalk sign now has a cat on it, too.
Yeah.
No cats. I don't know. I saw a guy walking a cat in Essex Woods. I was...
On a leash, I hope.
Yes, and it was not cooperating very well at all.
So we're at the Station 1 kiosk, and these signs of the Bangor City Forest and the Bog Walk are just uncanny. When they tell you a bird is there, it's there. So this is the place to get Canada warbler. And the northern water thrush is the one that keeps singing back over here.
Yeah.
Haven't heard the Canada yet, but they're just coming back now. And a Canada warbler just sang. This is a real cluster of them. There's like 3 or 4 that breed in here. And they're very territorial, so they have to sort it all out.
Why do they breed in here?
They like it where it's tangled and wet, where nobody would ever walk in. That's their habitat.
Huh.
So this is tangled and wet in here. Nobody would ever walk in there, so they love it. So your visit to Baxter yesterday was just for fun. Are you writing about it?
I was actually writing about Greg Westrich just let out a new book called, it's all on Baxter hikes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he's from Glenburn. So we went on a hike together that's in the book so that I could write about it and take photos of him and ask him questions. Ooh, these are pretty.
Yeah.
The flowers are out.
I'm an idiot savant. I know birds. I know nothing else.
I should know that flower because I've taken pictures of it before and identified it. But
so the trail. What trail did you do in Baxter?
We went around Kidney Pond and went to Lily Pad Pond, and then we paddled down the stream to Lily Pad Pond and across it. And then there's another trail that picks up after that and goes to, now I'm trying to remember, something Pitch. But along the way, you walk by Little and Big Niagara, and that's kind of a different way. It's a really nice way to look at them, but there's another trail on the other side that's easier to access where you don't have to paddle. So that was really cool. I'd never seen those 2 waterfalls before, and they were awesome.
I have not seen them either, because it sounds like it's too much work.
It was awesome. Well, it was actually a really short paddle, and Baxter has the canoes there, so you just you get the key, and but you do have to carry like your life vests and the paddles down the trail for a mile to get to it. But that's not too bad. And then the waterfalls were really, really pretty, but this time of year especially because it's been so rainy. Lots of water.
So when you're an outdoor writer for the Bangor Daily News, is it like, oh, Aislinn, come right this way, we have your canoe waiting for you?
No.
You get to be a celebrity?
I wish I had, I wish I had like a sponsorship canoe.
I know it.
Like a BDN canoe. No, I did find a canoe on my property when I moved to Dedham.
Is that right?
I found an old town canoe. It's a one person. And it's slightly cracked, but up high, so it doesn't matter. It still floats. I tried it out. So no, I have kayaks too. But yeah, it was kind of nice to. In Baxter, you can just use them, like as a Mainer. I don't know. You get in free, and then
really,
just use the canoe.
Now, do you know the white-throated sparrow?
I've taken a photo of it, but I don't know how it sounds.
It's the one that's over here. Old Sam Peabody, Peabody, Peabody. That rattle you just heard is a palm warbler. And they're usually pretty common on the backside of the bog, so I expect you to see some. There, that's a palm. And behind it is a purple finch singing. He's like right on our heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the top of this one. Yeah.
He's right above us.
We're not going to work on him. There's too many others here. They're easier from out on the bog where they can't get up high over your head.
Yes. So that's purple finch?
That's purple finch.
Because I hear that a lot around my house.
Finchers are so gregarious that they don't really terrorize each other during territorial season. They just try to outcompete each other by being sexier than the next male.
How so?
They have this display where they sort of get in front of the female. They'll fluff themselves up. They'll wiggle their wings and
They dance.
They dance. They'll pop up a foot, fly up, fly back down to the branch.
Oh my goodness.
Wiggle. And they'll try to outdo each other.
Oh, too bad you don't have a video of that, do you?
I don't, no.
I bet you could find one on YouTube or something.
I'm sure. You can find anything on YouTube.
Yeah.
Now you hear that, sweetie?
Yeah?
That's actually the love song of the chickadee.
Okay, yeah.
So the chickadee is the call. That's how they talk to each other. How they do territory is this, hey, sweetie, or sweetie.
Oh.
So he's telling the other chickadees to stay away.
Must get tiring.
Not if you want to encourage a female. There's two common yellowthroats that are fighting over here, or dueling.
How do you know that?
Because they're fairly close to each other and they're both singing almost simultaneously. Witchity, 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 witch. And a moment ago there was a golden crowned kinglet that was right over our heads, and now he's gone quiet.
Now those are hard to take photos of.
Oh, they never stop moving.
No, they don't.
You know how many bad photos I have of kinglets?
Yeah, they're so pretty too.
It is the smallest bird that can survive in a Maine winter.
I don't know how they do it. I really don't.
They make a lot of babies.
Yeah?
Yeah, because the mortality is real high.
Is it?
Yeah,
oh.
A lot of them do die during the winter. So what they do is they raise, the male and female will raise the first brood.
Yeah.
As soon as the first ones fledge, Dad takes care of them and Mom starts the second brood.
Wow.
So they make a lot of babies, and that's the only way the species can survive in a cold Maine winter. Is enough of them survive that they continue.
That's a little sad.
It is. Kind of tragic.
At this point, we've reached the bog part of the Orono Bog Boardwalk. Aislinn Sarnacki and I are about to step out into the open. If you've just joined us, let me catch you up. Aislinn and I both write outdoor columns for the Bangor Daily News. She hikes, I bird, and we're combining the two in Bangor City Forest on a walk that we did a couple of weeks ago. This is the time of year when birds are really singing, so I'm pointing out what makes all the noise, while she talks about the outdoor experiences that she writes about. Frankly, this show is really just about getting outdoors. Stand by. This is Bob Duchesne's Wild Maine on Sports Radio 92.9, The Ticket. This is Bob Duchesne's Wild Maine. Saturday mornings at 9, Sunday mornings at 8 on Sports Radio 92.9, The Ticket. Aislinn Sarnacki writes outdoor columns for the Bangor Daily News, and she's famous for her one-minute hikes. We're taking one of those hikes right now. But we're not getting very far because we're stopping at all the birds we encounter along the way. We've combined two topics into one show. We're in Bangor City Forest, which includes the Orono Bog Boardwalk.
So we're out onto the bog itself.
Man, it's sunny out.
And warm.
Yes.
Oh, and a Lincoln sparrow just sang. This is like the spot to see a Lincoln sparrow. It's a northern bog bird.
What are those things?
Don't know if you can hear all the little seats. See?
Mm-hmm.
That's the call of a white-throated sparrow.
Huh.
So since you get out in the woods a lot and white-throated sparrows are around a lot, you can suddenly realize, hey, you're surrounded, and they're not singing, but you know you're surrounded.
Yes.
When you hear those little seats.
Do they have a longer call, like a song, or they just always do that little...
No, it's the old Sam Peabody.
Oh.
Yeah, that. I'm not a good whistler.
And as a birder, that's really funny.
Yeah, as a birder, I have no real skills at being able to recognize songs.
Oh.
How can somebody so unskilled have a reputation like this?
You can't even whistle. This is such a weird place. If no one's ever been out in a bog, like, it's the oddest landscape. Mm-hmm. When I first came out here, it was like a different world. I brought my niece out here. She's 4, and she was awestruck. She loved it. We did the whole boardwalk, and she just thought it was so cool. I was pointing out a few different plants that I thought she would think were cool. The little cotton ball sedge, the cotton sedge that pops up there. I don't know like a lot of them, but pitcher plants are easy to identify. She thought I was smart, so
yeah, no,
or you could just read the interpretive signs and sound really smart.
Read the sign, but don't let them know you're doing it. Then you just tell them, and they think you're smart.
That's right.
Or if you can't fool kids, who can you fool?
Right. Yeah, it's a good way to
pretty much what they're there for.
It's a good way to feel good about yourself. Just take a 4-year-old out on an interpretive walk.
Right.
I love all the tamaracks out here. I guess people call them larch too.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't hear many people calling them tamaracks. I don't know why I call them tamaracks.
That's all I call them.
Oh, okay.
I'm a total tamarack person. I never say larch.
Okay.
And you won't catch me dead saying hackmatack. Yeah. To me, it's all tamarack. Now, cut it out, damn it. So we're retracing our steps back out of the bog right now. Good time for you to tell me a little bit more about your book, because you wrote a book on hiking. I did, finally. I'd been wanting to compile some sort of collection of some of my hikes for a while, and it was really neat because a lot of readers and followers had asked for it, especially when I go to like sportsman shows or do presentations. They ask why I haven't come out with a book yet. Mm-hmm. And some of them even clip out the columns, which is really cool from the newspaper. So finally I was contacted by Downey's Books. Felt very lucky. And they worked with the BDN. We made an agreement, and I created a book out of it. So it was kind of cool. Oh, there he is right there. Just a white-throated sparrow sitting in this log. Oh, yeah. Are they normally so, I don't know, bold? Yeah, they kind of are. And they'll really scold you once they're nesting. She's not really nesting yet, not protecting anything, doesn't care that much. So one reason that I had waited so long to do a book is I needed a theme. I didn't want to just do like any hiking book. There's so many good guides out there. So they presented the theme of family-friendly hikes because they knew I did a lot of easier hikes. Like this boardwalk is in the book, actually. Right. So that goes really well with this show. Well timed. Because this is a phenomenal hike for kids and even older people and people with mobility issues. I mean, this is perfect. That just want to get out and enjoy the wilderness. So family-friendly is kind of an odd term, but it's mostly, easier hikes, easy to moderate. And then there's
some trail networks in there that have some harder hikes in the trail network, but they also have easy options. So there's 35 hikes in it, and they're all spread out throughout Maine. So I did a lot of extra traveling for this book and added, so it's not just a compilation of my columns, because I had to actually
do some real work.
Do some more work.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah. Once we picked a theme, I was like, darn it, there are so many places I haven't visited in like areas of Maine I need to go. So I went out to Rangeley, and I went up north and stayed near Aroostook State Park during the summer, and I went out to Quoddy Head out down east, and then took a few trips to southern Maine as well. So I'm kind of in the middle of the state.
That was the Canada warbler.
Oh.
Chip-chuppity squiditchity, or Canada dry so bubbly.
I
know it.
I like that one.
I like it too, but it doesn't really work for me.
It's not quite the...
No. But it does help you remember the Canada part. And it's got to be sitting... Oh, that wasn't him. There's actually... I think he just flew off. I think there's several different ones that have been dueling in here, establishing their territories, because they all just got back from the tropics.
So they really just they run into each other.
Yeah, they do, and they fight with each other. And it's really more of a squabble than a fight. They don't generally hurt each other.
Okay.
They just assert who dominates what territory. Something that just went in a phew, and that's a veery call note. And that weetsy, weetsy, weetsy is the black and white warbler. And that's the Canada warbler.
That's wild.
So as you can see, learning how to bird by ear has made me really lazy. I don't actually have to see any of these guys.
Yeah. You can just picture them. You know what they look like.
Yeah. So these family-friendly hikes, do I have to have a family to use the book?
No.
Because really, besides you, I can't get anyone else to bird with me.
It's no, definitely not. I did most of them by myself or with my dog Oreo. So Oreo is my family. I think one of the things I really try to do with it is make them great places for observing nature in different types of places. Because I've gotten so into taking photos of different plants and birds and animals. So I tried to make them. A lot of them have interpretive signs. What is this guy?
Phoebe.
Oh, he's got something. He's going to put it in his nest or something.
Another Phoebe is over here.
Yeah.
It's the male. And as I talked about before, that is red-eyed vireo. And they will sing right in August, so you're going to hear that song a lot everywhere you go in Maine. I guarantee they're around your house.
Are they hard to see? They stay up high or something?
Yeah, they stay right up in the leaves. They don't move a lot, so you don't see them easily.
Because I don't think I've ever taken a picture of vireo. I think they've always been just too high.
Yeah. I'll give him a try. Just let me get a chance to take a look at him. Because he ought to be pretty territorial. He just got back there. They come back from the tropics.
Do they have red eyes?
They do.
Okay.
You got to catch them just right in the sun, but they do.
Thank goodness, because that would be...
Yeah, no, it's worst named bird ever.
I heard that someone said that the call's like, look at me,
yes.
Look at me.
Here I am. Where are you?
Yeah.
I'm up here. Look at me.
Yeah.
And basically it's da-da-da, da-da-da.
Yeah.
Which is different than the blue-headed vireo, which is also right in here. And that one goes E-O, E-A. It's 2 syllables instead of 3.
Oh.
So same song, but 2 syllables.
Does it have a blue head?
It's got a gray head. Bluish gray, we'll call it.
Someone was optimistic about that.
We'll politely say, sure it does. So you do a lot of other writing for the Bangor Daily News besides just the 1-minute hikes.
Yes.
Is there a particular theme to what you do? Do the editors make you do things?
The editors don't usually make me do things unless something comes up they think I'd be especially good at. But I mostly come up with my own stories. I write a feature story every week that, I have like a beat is what we call it, where it's outdoor recreation, usually not hunting and fishing because that's John Holyoke's bit. So it's usually like passive recreation, like paddling or paddle boarding, or it depends on the season, obviously, and or wildlife conservation related stories.
That don't feature shooting a deer.
Right. Although I have written about, like I've written about when Alsborough was voting on whether or not to bring a sharpshooter in to shoot deer because of Lyme disease. So I have written about a few hunting things, and then actually when the bear hunting referendum came up, they put me as the lead reporter for that because I didn't, I wasn't really biased because I don't hunt and I'm not against hunting, so I'm right in the middle, or I tried to be. That was the goal for the whole thing.
Dispassionate reporter.
Yeah. So sometimes I do actually get put on, and I've written about salmon before, not necessarily fishing, but the efforts to conserve them. So yeah, it's a really fun job. I learn a lot. I don't know how much I retain, but I try to retain it. So I still have to go back and read my own stuff. But I know some very random facts about lots of different wildlife.
Isn't that funny? I'm writing a Woods and Waters column for Bangor Metro, as you probably know, and that's forcing me to learn stuff. And nowadays I can just sort of sit down and regurgitate what I know, and I didn't used to be able to do that, but I get outside so much now because I'm forced to.
It's nice when you realize you actually know something.
Yeah, I know it.
And I'm starting to get to that point where I at least can go out on a walk with people who don't necessarily go outside and tell them something that they don't know, which is nice. But there's a lot to learn. It's funny how much you don't learn in school about the native environment. Like I would learn more about the jungle in school than I would learn about the Maine forest, it seemed like. And I don't know if that's changed, but I didn't know my trees really. Yeah,
birding made me learn about trees because birds want specific types of vegetation. And I want to know where they are, so I was forced to learn.
Yeah.
Aislinn Sarnacki is my guest. She's an outdoor writer for the Bangor Daily News, and we're doing one of her 1-minute hikes on the radio. This hike took place 2 weeks ago in Bangor City Forest. We have just come out of the Orono Bog Boardwalk, and we're heading back to the main path. This would be a good time to take a break, and we can meet you over there in about 3 minutes. This is Bob Duchesne's Wild Maine on Sports Radio 92.9 The Ticket. This is Bob Duchesne's Wild Maine on Sports Radio 92.9 The Ticket. It's the one show on radio that cannot be confined to a studio. We're outdoors today with outdoor writer Aislinn Sarnacki. We both write columns for the Bangor Daily News, and her 1-minute hike columns and videos are famous. We're now walking on the main path in Bangor City Forest. We walk, we talk, and I point out birds.
Okay, we got two things going on here. Northern water thrush and another black and white warbler. And the water thrush could be fun to play with.
Yeah.
What they do is they sit right up there and annoy the living daylights out of you because they'll sing loud and won't move. So you think you can see him, but you can't. Oh, he just popped up. But they're territorially aggressive, but sneaky. So I think he may come to take a look at me, but he won't make himself an easy target. That's my prediction. There he comes. And he will come right back because he's now looking for me.
He went around.
Yeah, they do that. They circle you. And they make tighter and tighter circles till they find the intruder. They don't really want to get into a fight, but if they do, they want to get the drop on their opponent. So they won't come right at him. They'll sort of circle around looking for him. And that's what he just did to us. Oh, here he comes. There he is.
That's cool.
Oops, he just moved, yeah. They can be hard to photograph because they don't really like this to make themselves easy.
Yeah.
But he's still staying high.
Yeah, he is. He's up there.
Yeah, oh, he's sitting right up in the open on a branch, though. In the sun. You're a little bit blocked by the near fir. You can probably see him from right here a little bit better. Sitting up in the maple on a crossed branch. Where you're going to find him is wet spots in the woods. So, there's a wet area right there.
Oh, yeah.
So any place a beaver has flooded, a backwater in the woods, forested wetland,
Why? They like the bugs that are there? Or?
Yeah, they feed on bugs that are insects that are close to the water and around the area. And that's their niche. So that's where you find them.
You got a mourning dove up here.
Yep.
Eating dirt.
Mourning doves now, they are dumb as rocks.
Yeah, that's one of the first birds that I taught my husband because he wasn't really into birding, but I was like, you'll be able to recognize that one. It's around all the time. And it's pretty distinctive, I mean, with the blush color head and everything.
And here is the piece of trivia you can take away today. Mourning dove is the #1 game bird in North America.
Really?
I know, I can't believe it either, because they're not huntable in Maine. We don't have a season on them. But in more southern states, they are just hunted all the time.
Did they used to ever be called pigeons at all?
No.
Because I was reading a book the other day about someone, it was based back when Maine was first being like settled really, and people would like kill pigeons and eat them.
Yeah.
But those are like pigeons?
Yeah, I don't think they're city pigeons.
Like, that's disgusting.
There's passenger pigeons, that's probably what you heard.
Ah, yeah.
And they hunted those to extinction.
Oh, okay.
It was the most numerous bird in North America, and we killed them all.
Yeah, because in the book they like netted them, and a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Because they needed a lot of them to eat.
Yep. And they did. They would just take them by the thousands.
Yep.
Put them in barrels and salt them and take them off to big cities to eat it. It just...
All right.
How can you take the most populous bird in North America
and kill
them all?
Hey, look, a snake.
Oh, yeah.
He was out enjoying himself.
Okay, we have another target of opportunity. Here's a Nashville warbler that's been singing over here.
Oh.
There he goes. Bitsy, 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 tee, 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 tee. And what he'll probably do is shoot across over our heads over here, then back over here, and back, and get closer and closer until he gives you a good shot. That's my prediction.
Okay.
Once you get to know these birds, you realize that they really kind of act different too.
Yeah?
Now, the big question is, are we inside what he thinks is his territory?
Mm-hmm.
Oop, I think he moved on us. That sounded closer. And there he is. Here he comes.
Oh, my. He is interesting.
So he's dropped low in this bush right there. There he is. He's going to try to sing me away. There's two of them here. Another one is coming in. Another one has gone to the top of this maple. And there he comes. Now they're going to fight, so I started an argument.
Oh my goodness, that is wild.
These guys apparently just got back, so they're sorting it all out. The magnolia warbler just, popped in down here. There it goes. And that's a really pretty one. They're also rather hard to get their attention. They are not very territorial, so it's sometimes difficult to get them to behave. All right, I think we can head back. The wind has come up. The birds are going to start to go silent.
They just don't want to compete with the wind?
Exactly. They sing mostly in morning when it's cooler and there's not as much wind, so the sound carries. Mm-hmm. Once it's difficult for the sound to carry, they're not going to waste energy doing something that's not working anyway.
Yeah.
So by 9, even 10, they start to really go quiet. Mm-hmm. But this time of year, when they're just back and they're just establishing territories, they can sing a lot of the day. So
yeah,
this is like the perfect time to go birding by ear.
Do they now? Do they start back up again in the evening, or
they can? Yep.
Aislinn Sarnacki is an outdoor writer for the Bangor Daily News, and we're taking one of her famous one-minute hikes through Bangor City Forest, stopping at every bird we discover. Aislinn has written one book on family-friendly hikes. She's got another one in the works, and in a few minutes, I'll ask if she's got more ambitious plans for her writing future. But first, we're going to have to identify a mystery bird that just flew by our heads. Back in a moment, this is Bob Duchesne's Wild Maine on Sports Radio 92.9, The Ticket. Welcome back to Bob Duchesne's Wild Maine on Sports Radio 92.9, The Ticket. This whole show is taking place on foot, outdoors, through Bangor City Forest. My guest is Aislinn Sarnacki, outdoor writer for the Bangor Daily News, famous for her one-minute hikes. We're walking one of those right now and identifying the birds we find along the way, including a bird that just flew by our heads. It's small, gray, and fidgety. It takes a moment for me to recognize a least flycatcher.
So there's a family of flycatchers that are called the Impidnex flycatchers. They all look alike, and they drive people crazy. And the worst are alder and willow flycatcher, which are virtually identical. You can't even tell them apart when you're holding them.
Oh my goodness. So how are they even different?
At one time, they were considered the same species. In 1996, I think it was, they split them into what was called the Trails flycatcher, into alder and willow. And they have different sounds, and they go to different places in the winter. So they began to realize these were not the same bird.
Interesting.
Here's our northern water thrush is still singing, right next to his water.
Now, do they go to larger wetlands or just the small little vernal pools?
Yeah, they really like the small stuff.
Yeah.
They'll be around the edges. I get them around the edges of Pushaw Lake.
Oh, okay.
So they just
It's a
like
big
wet.
pool.
Yeah.
What is this guy freaking out here?
That's a robin.
That's a robin.
Yep.
Okay.
There's about 4 or 5 birds that do a sing-songy pattern. Cheerio up, cheerio. Going up, going down, going up, going down. Robins are the premier ones that do it, but rose-breasted grosbeaks and scarlet tanagers, orioles to a certain extent, all have the sing-songy pattern.
It's like a very frantic call.
Yes. Start up right around April 1st. They start singing like that.
I think it's funny that people think robins are necessarily like a spring sign of spring. I see them in the winter.
Yes, and we always had them in the winter some.
More so now?
Yeah, I think there's more ornamental berries and fruits, crab apples that they can subsist on. They can live on nothing but fruit all winter.
So a lot of them will fly south though because of the scarcity of food.
They do.
Yeah. I guess because they come out onto the lawns for the worms in the spring. So people are like, robins mean spring.
And I just read recently that they'll eat the worms mostly in the morning, then switch to fruit in the afternoon.
I'm assuming different types of birds have different size territories.
Very much.
Yeah.
Blackburnian warblers that we touched on earlier, basically one tree is their territory. They don't really fight much outside of that one tree. Ovenbirds are so specific about their territory. So you can have one on this side of the road, one on this side of the road, and the line is the path right here. And if one of them crosses, they'll fight.
Yeah.
So what are your ambitions for what you want to do in the future that you haven't had a chance to do yet?
I would like to write a book that isn't a guidebook, perhaps. I do have a nonfiction. It was actually a thesis that I wrote for the University of Maine. It's sort of a memoir. It's sort of like Annie Dillard style. It's kind of like a memoir, but it's more outdoorsy type writing.
Yeah.
That I would love to rewrite and publish someday. Or, like a fiction novel would be so cool, but need to work on my writing a little bit before I do that. But I really do enjoy the guidebooks a lot because I enjoy the photography too.
Yeah.
And the writing, and maybe sometimes the writing can be a little tedious because you've got the same formula over and over again.
Yes.
But
I know.
but that's all right, and I still really enjoy it. So it'd be nice to create some more guidebooks. And I'm actually working with Down East on my second one already because it was a part of the first contract. And that'll come out next spring, and that one's going to include some more challenging hikes. So
family unfriendly hikes.
we'll have both, hopefully, but more, moderate to challenging.
Pause right here for a second. There's the northern parula, or parula, I guess we agreed to call it.
Parula, yes.
He's making himself somewhat obnoxious.
Oh, is he flying? Is this him?
No, that was not him. When they're singing like that, they tend to be towards the top and wide open. So that Weeda Weeda Weedio is another magnolia warbler that I pointed out earlier. We can just take a right here, I guess, and go back.
Oh, yes, this is the main path.
Yeah, they both go there.
I have a certain fondness for the birds that stick around all winter, like those guys. Because I hike so much in the winter that they keep me company. Because it's easy to see them in the wintertime.
So red-breasted nuthatch, blue jays, gray jays when you're in the right place.
And all the woodpeckers.
Yep. There are northern woodpeckers that I'm addicted to. I go up into the woods around Baxter all the time trying to find these really hard ones.
Is there like a, was it
Black-backed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And American three-toed, which is even rarer.
Oh, because I was camping out in Baxter, and we came across a couple that saw a black-backed, and they were very excited. They were birders.
They are very hard to get. But I figured them out to a certain extent, and so the people call me the woodpecker whisperer.
You could be called worse.
Yeah, I know. I am called worse.
And that looks like a good place to leave it. We're just about back to the parking lot in Bangor City Forest. The wind has come up, the birds are going quiet, so my thanks to Aislinn Sarnacki for conspiring with me on this 1-minute birding hike. She took a lot of photos of the birds we discovered, and you may see those in the future, but she didn't do a video for this walk, so the only way you can relive this show is to re-listen to it or share it with friends online at 929theticket.com. Bob Duchesne's Wild Maine returns next Saturday morning at 9, Sunday morning at 8, brought to you by Hammond Lumber, Napa Auto Parts, and ABS on Sports Radio 92.9 The Ticket.